For today's history video, I'd like to explore how the two parties worked together in 1996 to pass welfare reform, the balanced budget deal, immigration reform, raise the minimum wage, and a whole variety of legislation that went through with bipartisan support. It's an important thing to understand as Trump looks to try to figure out how to pass some stuff with bipartisan support in today's Congress. The fundamental motivating factor in letting this happen, permitting it to happen, is that both the Democrats and the Republicans came to understand that their political existence depended upon their ability to get this done, to pass this stuff together. Now you're going to say, how can they both understand that? They're in conflict. Well, the Democrats controlled the White House through Bill Clinton, and the Republicans controlled both houses of Congress. And it was clear that if they failed to produce achievements, they both would very likely lose. The Democrats might take over the Congress, but the Republicans might take over the White House. And that prospect scared the incumbent president and the incumbent congressional leadership, even though they were of opposite parties, into changing their policies. The way I put it in discussing it with them back then was, before you're a Democrat or before you're a Republican, you're an incumbent. And that ultimately you're going to be judged not based on the positions you take on issues, but on the things you achieve and the bills you're able to pass. And if you can't pass anything, you won't have any record, and it won't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican, you'll lose, simply because you're an incumbent. And that argument was very important in really motivating fundamental change. So when Bill Clinton didn't want to sign the Welfare Reform Act that Congress had passed, I said, there's a very simple thing here, sir. If you don't sign this bill, you're going to lose. And that was very persuasive. And when Trent Lott and Newt Gingrich in the Senate and the House didn't want to pass the welfare reform bill that the president would approve of, I made a similar argument. And that argument also induced them to raise the minimum wage, and ultimately the two sides to come together in the budget deal. But the key thing here is that to achieve a bipartisan result, you've got to change the motivation of the two political parties from defeating the other one to re-electing themselves. That essentially you have to let their self-interest overcome their partisan interest. Because ultimately every incumbent's goal is to be re-elected. And if that goal can only be achieved in concert with somebody else's re-election in another branch of government, well, they'll probably go along with it. And it's that fundamental construct that has to animate any attempt at bipartisan legislation in this Congress or in any Congress. Thanks for watching.